My name is Hela Mansour, American-born to Egyptian parents living in Bordeaux. In the light of the current events, I would like to walk you through this podcast, A Promenade in Bordeaux. As an accredited guide, I share with you the history and culture of this city. Let's start with one of my favorite landmarks, a large column with ornate bronze sculptures surrounding it of the Third Republic. This is Le Monument aux Girondins. The Girondins were members of the National Assembly established during the French Revolution. On the summit of this column, dedicated to the Girondins, is the goddess Nike, Victory, breaking free from her chains. In Nike's right hand, she holds a chain representing liberty, a palm frond in her left, once again to depict victory. Below her, forged on the balcony railing, are two letters, G. In total, there are 4 sides of the balconies representing the 8 members who lost their lives during the Reign of Terror of 1793. Inscriptions in stone under the wrought iron read the initials RF, République Française, where further down the column is a lion, a crown, and a wreath. This monument commemorates a dead king, the monarch of France, Louis XVI. So if you are for the French Republic, it is for you. If you are for the monarchy, it is also for you. The Monument aux Girondins is a summary of the history of France. The bronzes facing south represent La République. La République is feminine, as is La France, La Marianne, a female figure representing the Republic. She is seated on her chariot in the form of Venus's shell, with the staff of justice in her left hand, and in her right hand she holds a globe representing the world. Just before her, to her right, is a blacksmith who pledges allegiance to the Republic with his left hand and passes the sword just forged with his right hand to Athena, the goddess of the art and strategy of warfare. Athena, seated, is leaning on a lion showing force, thus a strong republic. But La République is stomping on the vices, 3 of them. The first from our left is the two-faced liar, and he holds a mask in his hand. The one in the center clutches his left fist and has pig's ears. He represents greed. And the third and final one on our right does not wish to hear nor see anything, representing ignorance. So lying, greed, and ignorance do not exist in the French Republic. On both sides of Marianne's chariot are 2 sets of 3 cherub-looking children. Those on her right represent military service, and on the left, education as obligations to the French Republic. We circle round to the second of the 4 sides of the monument, which faces east, and notice a time-line reading from top to bottom with 3 dates inscribed in oval medallions. 1789 being the outbreak of the Revolution, 1792 the king is caught and tried, and finally 1793, precisely on the 6th of January, Louis XVI is guillotined. For the bicentennial of the Reign of Terror, the city added a commemorative plaque with the names of the Girondins. On both sides of the plaque are 2 finely sculpted muses. The first to our left, looking back in time, is the muse of history, Clio, and holding a scroll of what we imagine to be parchment paper is the muse of eloquence, Calliope. Last but not least, in the center, towering above, is the cockerel or rooster, the French emblem since the antiquity and the time of the Gauls. We wrap round this fountain or monument constantly to your left, and we reach bronzes facing north. As we approach to our left, there are 3 cherub children, this time representing commerce, wine being by far the commodity of trade in the city. Now we admire the greater ensemble of the bronzes, those facing north, and here, seated on her chariot, is La Concorde, who embodies harmony. She raises a protective arm above 2 gentlemen, embracing one another, emphasizing fraternity between the boss and the worker, now that France is a republic. Practically laying to her left is a statue of a woman ever so finely sculpted.
clutching a bunch of grapes in one hand, holding a stack of wheat in the other, and she symbolizes fertility. In the fountain, we see sculptures of a happy man, woman, and child denoting family life. And we finish up with the three cherubs who represent the arts, the painter, the sculptor, and the musician, each holding an instrument of their profession.
To finish our promenade, I would like to do so with the allegory of Bordeaux. By the way, there are stairs on both western and eastern sides to give you an elevated perspective of the very large plaza the monument lies within.
Carved in marble before us is a lady seated very elegantly with a basket of abundance around her. She represents Bordeaux. And on both her sides, we see two young ladies looking at each other with their urns flowing with water. Each of these ladies represents one of the rivers that run through or by the city of Bordeaux. On the left, we see La Garonne, represented by a swan, and the river on the right, depicting a duck, representing La Dordogne. What I find extraordinary about this monument are the horses that draw the two chariots, north and south, so the Republic and Concordia. These magnificently sculpted horses, half of them having hooves as fins, and the other half claws like those of reptiles. It's to show you that France can swim to distant countries, crossing oceans and seas, and once these chariots get on other sandbanks in other countries, they will crawl their way up like crocodiles would, spread their chariot of culture and harmony, but more so their ideals of the French Republic, on land like on water.